A very warm welcome to Art Gallery Explorer, the vlog that takes you inside art galleries and exhibition spaces across London, the southeast of England and beyond. And today I am very much beyond up here in Edinburgh, exploring a series of shows linked to the Edinburgh Art Festival, which itself runs alongside the Fringe, the Book Festival, and of course the Edinburgh International Festival. And the first show that I'm going to explore and want to bring you today is by Ghanaian great Anatsui. Lots of us have fresh in our minds the epic turbine hall installation, one of the most successful in recent years, that Anatsui produced at London's Tate Modern. He is actually being considered and rated by Time magazine one of the most 100 influential people in the world, a pretty big accolade for an artist. The Talbot Rice Gallery is actually here in the centre of Edinburgh, in the Old Town, and it's actually the university's gallery. And I have to say, my contacts and friends on the Edinburgh art scene say this has some of the most consistently well curated and interesting shows in this art-rich city. So the bar's set high for me. Wow. And straight away, if I just turn you round, we can see our very first piece by Anatsui. And it is a pretty impressive introduction to the gallery, which, as you can see, is in this lovely square. To me, that seems a very typical Anatsui piece. He uses bottle tops often in his work. I'm going to see if this includes it as well. This one is called, as you can see here, Searching for a Connection. And that's a really interesting piece. So that's a big piece to start with. We're going to head inside. As I say, this is my first ever visit, would you believe, to the Talbot Rice Gallery next to the Edinburgh Law School Library. And I'm really excited to head inside. I should say that this show is free, and I'm really, and you can see it's beautiful surroundings. It's sort of like a little oasis. This is in the Fringe. It's very busy outside. What a beautiful setting for a gallery. That first piece that you've just seen, Searching for Connection, reminded me both of a map and a landscape, and it was indeed made of thousands and thousands of flattened bottle tops stitched together. But it also was really interesting sculpturally because it blew a little bit in the wind, a bit like a ship's sail, responding to the natural elements. So it was an interesting start. The first piece that we see in the galleries, Woman's Cloth, is where it all began for Anatsui in many ways, along with its companion piece, Man's Cloth, which now hangs in the British Museum. This was one of the first pieces which saw Anatsui use his now signature technique of using recycled metal bottle tops, squashed down and stitching them together to form sculptures. These are inspired by the narrow strip woven textiles of the Ewe and Asante people of Ghana. And I was also really interested in the shape of this sculpture and the flow, and could imagine it takes on a different shape in every gallery where it is displayed. However, this first gallery is dominated by this 30-metre wide brand new artwork entitled The Scottish Mission Book Depot, Keta. The first thing that strikes you is the colour, rich yellow like clay from the ground, and apparently reflecting the volcanic surroundings of Edinburgh. It also refers very much back to Anatsui's own past, and recalls the Scottish Mission Book Depot in Keta that provided his books and art materials as a child. This epic work refers back to colonialism in the sense that obviously the reason there was a Scottish Mission Book Depot was because Ghana, after World War I, was part of the British Empire. It's also a deeply personal work. Your eyes are drawn to this colourful little squiggle in the bottom right hand corner, which is apparently a tribute to Anatsui's own scribbling using the crayons which he picked up at the Scottish Mission Book Depot. A pair of works from 2021, Sovereignty and Freedom, explore many similar themes. When I first saw Sovereignty, it reminded me of a ship. but it's only when you look in close, as you can see here, that lots of the recycled aluminium are actually bottle tops from alcohol brands, and it reminds us in both of these works, Sovereignty and Freedom, of the trade and the trade imbalance and tensions which occurred between Africa and the West in the era of colonization. These so-called trade spirits were the second largest import, according to the exhibition, to West Africa by the 16th century, surpassed only by textiles. Before the use of recycled materials, aluminium bottle tops, for example, Anatsui was a sculptor who mainly worked in wood, carving, painting, chainsawing, burning and accumulating woods. And so some of these are some of his earliest works. And it's really special to explore how wood and the use of symbols, some from ancient African cultures, some invented by Anatsui, have been used and continuously reworked throughout Anatsui's practice, because even though he's much less well known for his wooden sculptures today, they are still being produced. The work Royal Slumber is made using printing press sheets rather than bottle tops, and we see a figure reclining amongst silvery tones. Anatsui believes that all art is dynamic, and so this work has been exhibited in a darkened room where you're encouraged to be quiet. And this isn't how the work's been exhibited before, according to the exhibition, but it's an example of us being encouraged to look at the idea of royal slumber in a different context and a different way. The upper gallery of the Georgian Gallery, a wonderful space, it used to be a natural history museum, contains works that Anatsui made in collaboration with Factum Arte, a print studio based in Madrid, London and Milan. And these works include many of Anatsui's motifs, but in very different form. The bottom floor of the Georgian Gallery, with one exception, an early work, contains works produced in 2023. And so it's really interesting to see how Anatsui is working as an artist today. And I'll leave you with these works before reviewing this show. Well, art lovers, the heavens opened for a second there, so I had to take shelter. As is Edinburgh's wont, it is now sunny again, so the sunglasses don't look too stupid. I really to start by saying what a generous show this Anatsui show is. The most comprehensive single viewing of his work in a public institution in the UK ever. And the fact that it was free and came with a really good exhibition guide in an age when these are being restricted, Tate Modern, to online versions really pleased me, and for that reason alone I heartily recommend it. I always review these exhibitions in terms of the good, the bad and the beautiful, and for me the good was the range of his work. I haven't seen many at all of his wooden sculptures, yet I read repeatedly that they form a really important part of his artistic career, especially his early career. So it's fantastic to see some of these up close and be able to look in on them and see the textures and the colours that he used as his artistic practice evolved. In terms of the bad, I thought the upper section of the Ghanian gallery was a bit less well lit, and the works a little bit less interesting. They're kind of print works, but still, there's a minor quibble. I still enjoyed them. Some exhibitions, you can't really find bad things about. In terms of the beautiful, it's got to be the epic Scottish Mission Book Depot work, partly because of its scale and colour and the fact that you can view it from down below in the gallery and also up on a balcony, but more because it had this really emotional autobiographical link to the artist's own childhood. He got books and art materials and crayons apparently from a Scottish book mission which in Ghana, which apparently itself was a legacy of colonialism. And I love the fact that this little colourful burst down on the bottom right hand side apparently reflected the crayons and the scribbles that he created as a young child. You can read more about all of this on the website, and I'm going to post the link in the video description. Hopefully though that gives a sense. I definitely give this show an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good. I'm so glad that there has been this big sort of not quite full sprawling retrospective, but a nice tight but comprehensive understanding of his artwork, including works from across the decades. So do come along if you're in this city. It's on until the 29th of September. It's free, and so don't forget to subscribe to Art Gallery Explorer. Hit that notification bell for more reviews of shows from the wonderful city of Edinburgh, and then I'll be back to London for the autumn season. Thank you so much for watching and commenting as always. And if you're in Edinburgh, do check out my review of the Doho Sur show, Tracing Time. The link, you can click on the link just here. It's a fantastic show.